All right, everyone, let me just finish setting up my screen here while I test the sound and all of that. If anyone is out there and they can confirm whether or not you hear me, that would be fantastic. Get that going. Okay, and should be good. Should be good to switch over here. Hit this. Is that working? Let's just resize that a little bit. And then that. Resize that a bit. Perfect. All right, where's it best for me to live? I'll live down here. And let's just make the charts a little bigger. So we're going to be playing with the new version of Trade Ideas I made a video about yesterday. If you haven't seen that, check that out on the video when this is done. Really cool addition to the software and something that it's going to change the way I use Trade Ideas for sure. Probably the same with a lot of people here. And let's. Oh, you guys are going to see my music. That's fine. Just make sure I got a. There we go. Good afternoon from Chicago. How is it going? Good afternoon from rainy Canada. Which means today will be a day to get a whole bunch done, which will be good. So again, if anyone is new here, what we do is, I'm sure as you notice on the channel, I do these 1-minute videos throughout the week saying, hey, this is what, this is what I'm watching for the next day. This is what I'm watching for the day after, and so on and so forth. I come back once a week. I tell you how I've traded them, what I've thought about them, if I've traded them. Most of them, may not trigger. We go through my thoughts of the overall market, scan through that, see how that's going. Then from there, we go to look at what we're going to put for Monday, what we're going to watch for Monday. We talk a little bit about the Stats Edge trading product that I'm working on my website, and all the time, the only reason to stream this is community interaction. So questions, concerns, whatever, put them in the chat and I'll answer them as they go, as I see them. So let's get into the analysis for what we think is going to happen next week, and then we'll start with the wrap up of the shorts from there. I think that's the best order for it, but again, as always, feedback and everything is perfectly awesome. So let's go into, start here first, and we'll just go through kind of my wrap up of the markets. I use TrendSpider generally for this, which is some advanced technical analysis tools and things like that. Plus, I always like to include Bitcoin and cryptos in this as I'm trading cryptos more and more and more. So Stats Edge trading product will have crypto-ish on it. Still, the majority of my trading and income comes from equities. So it's going to be always my focus, but it's, I'm doing more crypto trading, so I'll take a look at it there. Now, Doesn't mean if you're not a crypto guy, you won't get value from that, because you can do things like BTC, right, which is going to mirror Bitcoin pretty closely. You can trade Riot, right, Mara. These type of things are going to have some sort of Bitcoin relationship to them. So again, if you're not it's not like you're not going to get value if you're not a crypto person. It's just a different, in the way I'm viewing it, is it's a different sector analysis. You've got, energy, technology, blah, 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 and now you just have crypto. So taking a look at Bitcoin, again, if you guys have been following, you guys know I've been shorting this up in this area for a long time. I've been shorting kind of as we've been going here, and just going, okay, on each rally I added to shorts, on each technical break I found I added to shorts there as well. And what happened, right? And it's not to toot my own horn, but this was a fantastic trade, so I'm going to be very happy with this. I covered kind of on the way down, and I'm out most of the short. I believe in the area of 80% of that short I'm out. As things crash, just not interested too much in holding. It's one of those things that the risk of a big bounce, I think, is higher than a risk of a crash at 10,000 or something. So just again, looking at it for what it was just kind of this rounded type of a topping formation right here that I was looking at as this thing. Let me actually show one of the reasons for my looking short was too far too fast. I couldn't justify buying up here, but this is something I've talked about with you guys before on looking at this as a RSI divergence. So an RSI divergence is essentially when the price of the instrument's moving higher, but yet the relative strength is moving lower. And you can see that this condition can stay this way for a long time. It was here all the way from 40 to 60, so 50% gain while that happened. However, these lower highs in the RSIs, while we're getting higher highs in the stock, basically just says momentum is running out as we push higher. It's taking less and less force to push up to a new high. So generally it can just be a slowing of momentum, so little things that I would do, like my first short, I believe, was kind of in this area. I need to go back and look. And, then we fell down here. And then when we bounced up, I took another short as we were breaking, right? So it may even been further back than that. I've been working into the short for a long time. That was great because equity trading, not going to lie, hasn't been the greatest. I'm not getting killed or anything, but just hasn't been as fun as it was in 2020. So a nice big trade like that certainly helps out. There. Now, one thing I'll note right now is that if we take a look at the other cryptos, which I need to update these so they update, Bitcoin, since the sell-off, Bitcoin's actually holding up relative to Ripple, which is just getting murdered. Ether, same kind of thing, just getting killed. Even Doge is actually holding up, and I am still long a tiny bit of Doge. It's a for fun trade. I think I have $2,000 in it, right? So if it goes to zero, I don't care. But looking at it, it's actually holding up relatively well to some of these. So next for Bitcoin for me with this short, again, it's enough. It's small enough that I don't really care. Now, from a longer term with Bitcoin, what would be actually nice from a technical point of view, and let's see if I go here, does it go further? Yeah, it's with Bitcoin, it's all about where you're pulling the data from. This breakout right here at 20,000, we had the highs in 2017, and then it struggled for that in a few weeks before it broke out and made this move. If it comes back and retests this 20 area and then holds for any length of time, that's when I will flip bullish, very bullish back on Bitcoin and start. I've got money set aside to buy if we get into the mid 30s to 20s. I've just got orders stacked all the way down to flip the short and potentially go long. feeler orders, but what I want to see, I don't want to just buy as the thing's selling. I want to see it hold on for a little bit and then look to push higher, and that's when I'd get in. So that's what I'm thinking for the crypto markets. Again, no reason to say, hey, it's going to bounce here. It may bounce here, but there's really no reason to. I did want to point out how technically great these markets are, where the stop of the sell-off was the last area of support. It's just it acts very much like it should from a technical point of view, which is very interesting. So into the markets. This is a line we actually drew last week when I was talking to you guys, and I was saying, hey, isn't it crazy that this trend line acted as support last week? Well, if we look at what happened this week, more of the same. It came in, it bounced. Let me actually see if I can do something really with this. Does that change anything? No. Hold on. Let me take a look here. I'm just noticing, I think it's because it's a remote computer. Basically, Trade Ideas doesn't have, long story short, I just have to run the new Trade Ideas version on a remote computer. So I'm going to try, see if I can make it. I'm just noticing it's slightly fuzzy. Let's see if this works. Oh, that does clean it up a little bit. Okay, good. This is the stuff that would be edited out if it was a video. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, so it was interesting. Again, drew this line last week during this very live stream, so everyone saw it live, down to the tick, and then bounced. So still an uptrend, right? And now this area is the area to watch, this 400 area, because if we break down here, then it's going to technically be a break of trend, and we could see some consolidation, or we could see a reversal there. But as long as this trend line holds, there's no real reason to talk about anything else going on. VT, the world index. So VT is just an ETF that tracks not only US, but a bunch of different ETFs around the world. That's holding strong as well. Let's get into this sector rotation graph, which I love to show every time. So this is the last 5 days. So here's the percentage gain of these different indices over 5 days. I can't wait. Soon I won't need this because we're building a sector layout thing inside of the new channel bar with Trade Ideas, which I think will be cool. Maybe a heat map down the road as well. But you can see it's still the boring stuff that's going, right? So we're talking real estate, healthcare, utilities, consumer staples doing well. Down here, we had a little bit of pullback in energy, industrials, and I think industrial is going to be a lot with the lumber crash, materials, that type of thing, consumer discretionary down there. So a bit more of a mixed bag this week, but still the same value outperforming that we've seen. So, it is what it is, and that's just kind of the way that it works. So that's fine. And more we can see from these comparison charts. So again, this is just to talk about our crypto thing. This is Ether over Bitcoin. So it shows how much Ethereum was outperforming Bitcoin in this area for a very long time. And you can see during the crash, it reversed. So Ethereum is actually pulling back harder than Bitcoin is. So is Bitcoin a flight to safety when it comes to cryptos? I think so. I think it makes sense, right? If we did XRP USD over BTC USD, you'll see the same thing, right? Where Ripple was starting to look like it was going to outperform for a little bit there, and then it came back in. Just, again, showing that there may be, again, some perceived safety in Bitcoin. And again, from someone who does work outside of what you guys see in the crypto space, it makes sense, right? Because Bitcoin isn't very useful when it comes to most things. It's not very good at even transferring money. It's slow and cumbersome and stuff. But the scarcity and the breadth of the network, to me, makes sense why people are seeing what is being shown here in price, is that Bitcoin may be a little safer as a crypto than anything else. Here is the growth versus value chart. So again, this chart just represents as it goes higher, it means growth stocks. And again, I talk about these things and I always feel like I need to come back and explain it to people who may just be stumbling upon the channel right now. Growth stocks are generally stocks that have very high price earning ratios. Maybe they don't even make money, but they're going higher. So when you hear growth stocks, think Tesla, Peloton, even Amazon, Netflix, right? These stocks that are basically priced as if they're going to grow into the future, not so much on what they do or what money they make right now. When it comes to value stocks, it's the other way around. So think Macy's, General Electric, utility companies, real estate income trusts, things like this, that they're not really expected to grow insanely into the future, but what they make a lot of money and they're secure revenue streams. And why people gravitate to these secure revenue streams is basically when it comes time that they don't think these growth stocks are going to have the insane growth they have in the past, they sell those growth stocks and then buy value type names like that. So you can see that, during mid-February-ish is when growth really started to underperform value. So value stocks started to do very, very well. And then we had this kind of sideways chop, and then value stocks performed on a relative basis to growth after that. And this week we've got more of this chop. So it's, again, same thing we saw on the other chart I just showed. It's a mixed bag still. Hey, Corona, how's it going? XLE tan, right? So this is how XLE, think dirty energy, tan, think clean energy. You can see that the bottoming formation is pulling back a bit, but it's still this rounded bottom until a new low is made. So this is why we saw a lift in some of the EV names like Ride this week, as there was a little more interest in growth and a little bit more interest in clean energy than before. The last one I like to look at is the SPAC, right? This is just SPYs v SPACs. So if this is going lower, it means SPACs are underperforming the SPY. If it's going higher, it means SPACs are overperforming the SPY. And you can see it just kind of collapsed there entirely. So just go through the individual charts and see if we can get any predictions out of this. Most of the things you're going to see are about the same. Things of just moving very, very incredibly high. One thing I did want to note is this XLE. The potential of a double top is here. Now, a double top is not formed until we break under 47, but we do have two equal tops, and it's occurring right near this breakdown area. So watching XLE closely, basically over 55, we could continue to move higher. And then again, that growth value chart will reflect that, and the tan over XLE will reflect that as well. And again, under 45, say, so 55 to 45, it's nothing. Over 55, interesting. Under 45, interesting to the downside. XLF, poking at new highs, right? So again, more of the same. Things are strong, continue to be strong, and there's really no need to bet against this market yet until it gives us some sort of a sign that things are going to turn down. All right, so that is the market, and that is crypto. To summarize the rantings I just went through, basically the trend continues to be the same, in which growth stocks are doing well relative to value stocks. Dirty energy is doing better relative to clean energy. Sorry, guys, this might be triggering moving this around, but I just want to get it pixel perfect if I can. But, it is what it is, right? So it just means trade the lamer names instead of the less lame names. For example, speaking of a lame name, this is a trade I guess you're seeing right here on VIAC, where when it broke out here a couple days ago, I purchased on a pullback this day. So I'm in somewhere kind of in this area. And then I bought a little bit more yesterday on a pullback. Theory being just looking for it to break this base after that whole hedge fund blow up fiasco. But let's get looking at the YouTube videos. YouTube. And let's go through some of those. Some good trades for sure from that. Oh, and that video is doing great. Again, if you haven't seen the video I made about Trade Ideas 5.5, that's coming out. Definitely check that out. So what was the beginning of this week? The beginning of this week was the 17th. So, oh yeah, I remember. It was WVE last week was what we decided to put on the charts. WVE. And again, once I'm done doing this, I'll show you guys this chart. So WVE, the theory was it may have been bottoming out here. We were looking at how tight this kind of consolidation was happening here, and we were looking for a breakout of that consolidation. It's what we got. I am in, still in, really haven't done much. Now that I look at the chart, I probably should have snagged some on that gap close. It'll just be interesting to see. I'll protect my entry now in this one. That was, so far, that's been a good one. Let's go into what was next. But yeah, I'm still a holder of this. Just checking. No earnings or anything that I can see. So, we'll see. TDUP, I actually picked up on Friday. TDUP. So the theory here was kind of the same, that we were looking at this low that was made and then a potential higher low that was made. And then we had this area going on here at 20. That was interesting. So I purchased as we broke 20, still in the full position, haven't had a chance to do anything, but so far closed well. So it was a good 1 day profit. We were looking at the AVWAP, which won't draw on this new beta version of Trade Ideas, but it was sitting around $20 as well, I remember. So basically all signs pointed to a break of 20. We took the break of 20. It'd be awesome if we, tested the highs here, but we'll see. Fairly big short float, and that's what was interesting to me on this name. So we'll continue to watch that, but again, long that one as well. And then it was OTRK. Still watching OTRK, actually. So again, the theory was low, potential higher low. Maybe we break this high and fire into the gap a bit. Nothing really happened on that one yet, but I'm watching. Then it was ADT. And ADT, I did not get in, but it looks like I should have. I wonder why I missed this one. I gotta go check my alerts, because this actually looks really good. Let me load up the video and see what it looked like because it was just 2 days ago, right? Yeah, so it was right on this candle right here. And I should have entered over that candle's high, and that would have already been a good one, but I missed it. That's okay. But that looks good. So if anyone else got it, it does continue to look good. PAX was last on Thursday. PAX. Not in PAX yet. Basically talked about it on this day right here. Looking to see if it can clear this high, and then potentially had this series of lower lows, lower highs. The hope is that if it broke this pattern, maybe we do the same thing opposite. Nothing happened. Still going to watch. The high of this doji right here, which you can always see on Trade Ideas if you don't know. If you just hover over the candle, it will show you right here the high, low, open, close data. So the high of that is 35. You can also see it right there if you hover over it. So on the high of 35, so maybe 1550 would be the number on that one. And is that it? That's it. So let's go over and take a look at the chat there. Hey, Johnny. New sub here. Love your content. Thank you. Appreciate it. Not to derail, but I'm getting into trade ideas and experiment with the AI. Is there a plan to include TradeStation on the brokers that can be linked? There's a plan to include all brokers. To be perfectly honest, I wouldn't hold my breath on that one. And again, don't worry about derailing. If I just wanted to do the content and throw it out, I would just record it, right? So the point of the live stream is you guys can come and chill out and ask questions and that kind of thing. I wouldn't hold my breath on TradeStation. I'll tell you exactly how they're doing it. Is they go into the trading room or they email, they do some sort of survey somewhere, and they just go based off their existing client base, and they say, okay, where do you guys trade? And the first ones were IB, E-Trade, and Thinkorswim. So they built IB because it was first, and then they tried to build Thinkorswim, but their API is absolute trash. So we have to do a whole bunch of workarounds. It's still being worked on with Thinkorswim. So that will happen at some point. E-Trade's already out. I think Tastyworks may be on the horizon soon if I get my way, because they're coming up to Canada. So I'm poking them to have that built. So TradeStation, I just don't think there's going to be too many. It just all depends where it goes on that priority list. That's that's just how they're doing it. I know people love TradeStation. They love the platform and everything. I think with the changes they're making to this Trade Ideas platform, it's going to be big. And again, if you haven't seen the video, check out the video that I put out yesterday. If not, I'll be playing around with the platform a bit in the end here today, and you guys can take a look at that. This is a beta that as soon as a handful of bugs are squashed on, you guys will be getting soon. I would say within weeks, maybe even next week, if everything goes well. Indicators are an issue. We need to rebuild the channel bar. There's some work that we have to do, but this will be out soon. It may take you away from TradeStation, but I got no control over it, but I just wouldn't bet on that one kind of anytime soon. So let's continue on. So again, I'll just go over quickly again for the people who haven't seen the video. This is the new Trade Ideas docked version. Where did I grab that from? Oh, that was that chart. So you can see that functionality right away. So the first cool thing is that you can have multiple channel bars. So here is a channel bar I have open, and I have this window open as well, and those things are docked together. So that works out really cool. That you can have, Holly channel and a pre-market channel. You can have this, you can have that, you can have all that open and good to go. The other cool things is that now that things are docked, and they don't have to be docked, I can pull any of these windows out of the dock and just make it a free-floating window just like before, and there's no changes here, so the people who are worried about change don't worry about it. But when you grab any window, that can be a docked window, you hover it, you get this little thing that you see in the corner. If you go to it just basically says, if I hover over this one and I go to these corners, it's saying, okay, I want it to be adjacent to this window in what way? Same with this. Do I want it to be adjacent to this window in what way? Another thing you can do, which is cool, is just click in the middle and it creates this tabbed view. And this is what I'm really excited about. So for example, this scan up here that's taking up that much real estate is actually 3 scans. So I can quickly tab through it and go to different charts from there. And then I have, for example, say a tabbed chart and then another tab chart. Another way I'm going to be doing it, which I can show you, is I'm going to be creating. So let's duplicate this, and then let's duplicate this one. And I'm going to have one chart set up that has all of my indicators on it. Now, indicators are a bit buggy in this build. But, so let's just add an RSI, the same thing I did in the video. If we go through and add RSI, you can see I'll have a clean version of the chart, so a chart with just nothing on it, that I'm only looking at price action. And then if I want to check indicators that I like, and moving averages, Bollinger Bands, whatever it is, you click over and then boom, instantly, you don't have to load anything, you don't have to do anything. There's your charts. That's really cool. Do my indicators ever just randomly disappear? Nope, never had that happen. This build, again, the lower indicators work and the upper indicators don't yet, but we'll get that fixed up, I'm sure. But I've just never had them randomly disappear. So that's one of the cool things. The other one is I can actually click there's a little pin icon over here, and it moves these. So for example, if I wanted to have, say 4 charts up, I could have 4 charts like this, and then I can just click over here, and this single stock window pops out. And then if I click back on my charts, it disappears. Right? If I go down to the scan, I can bring up the scan. I can start clicking through and looking at charts, and then if I click away, that goes away as well. So it just everything. It's a feeling thing. Maybe it's not the best way to show. Maybe you have to feel it, but everything, the way I can just manipulate layouts is way faster than before. The amount of information that I can have on a screen is just way more than it has been before. And that was one thing that even I was kind of starting to complain a little bit about with Trade Ideas. Is just the interface felt a bit clunky, right? It was, you had everything was its own separate window, and you had to go in and resize everything so that it perfectly fit together and all this. This cures all of that, and it just creates a new snappy, right? Like if I want to go over here and I want to add a monthly chart, I do this, and then I just change the time frame to monthly, and now I've changed my entire layout. So I have a daily, weekly, monthly. Right? Now if I want to snap it back together, I just go, okay, get back together. So the ability just to switch things and show so much more information is there. And again, I don't think this one's going to take you guys too long, because playing with it for the last couple days is basically all I've had it for. It feels good. All the bugs are obvious. The bugs being the charting. There's a weird one that pops up that, my background's all kind of messed up here, even though this is not. What if I do this and this? This may be the virtual machine too, for all I know. But you can have multiple layouts open, right? So I could have 3 of these docs, which is kind of going to be a plan of mine. I'm going to have, I've got another monitor over here. I'm just going to slap up a dock on there that's going to be the channel bar, and I'm just going to click through our pre-built channels, and then moving over into, I'm just going to have docks everywhere. So it's going to be great. Corona says, can't wait. Again, I don't think you'll have to wait long. It's going to be cool. Loaded the beta version. No, the beta version I'm showing right now hasn't been released yet. It's being released so basically it goes from the devs build it, then they give it to people that work at Trade Ideas, or people like myself who are a consultant with Trade Ideas. We play with it and we try to break it the best we can, and if we can't break it anymore, then it goes to the beta, to the public, because it's one of those things that 10 people banging on it internally, you'll get some of the bugs, a lot of the obvious bugs, but as soon as you give it to the population, there's going to be people using the program in ways that we never thought of. So we want to make sure that there's nothing broken that can crash it entirely right now, and then we'll give it to the public, and then they'll find a whole bunch of new bugs that we never know existed, and when those bugs get hammered out, then it goes full release after that. So just making sure here, okay, I'm not missing anything. But yeah, so very soon, but not yet. So, again, more questions, let me know. But I just love the fact that, again, this list, like this tabbed area that I have right here, is a lot of my intraday stuff. Where, this rounded bottom breakout scan is one that I have that's looking for rounded bottoms that are breaking out. And I can have all these open, and then up here I have all of my top scans. And then this tabbed section right down here, I have my single stock window, and I also have a 30-minute SPY chart. So if I just want to click on this and say, okay, what's the market doing? I can do that easily, and then go back to this and say, okay, that's what's going on there. So let's go through and look through the scan. So the only thing I have on my liked list right now is this guy and this guy. VIAC I'm already in, but I'm just watching. Again, the theory I had when I entered the trade is that this thing obviously got cut over in half from this crazy hedge fund break, put in a low, potentially higher low. If we get above here, we could go higher. They had some sort of news where they're spinning off HBO Plus or something like that, I think. Market seemed to like it, gapped up. So I'm just looking to see if this is going to break out. If we get, into the 50 area, I'll be out some of the position. And if we break back down, you can actually see where my stop is right there. So I'm risking 300, and if I'm right, I'll make 600-700, maybe 1,000. And that's all I do all day long. Very, very basic. So what we're doing now is we're going to start adding things to lists that we're interested in as I scan and answer any questions as things come. Is that roundabout breakout a shared scan? Yeah, I can share this one easily. Now, just FYI, part of the Stats Edge trading subscription will be a website that has all of my scans and how I use them, with examples of what I'm looking for with them, update it in real time. If there's any customs like this squeeze one, I can't share because there's a bunch of customs. The customs will be there as well, along with a video of how to add them in, what they're looking for. So that's going to be part of the whole thing, and it'll be that way with Trade Ideas and TrendSpider in case you're a TrendSpider user instead of Trade Ideas. NLS, I actually got in this one this week, I think somewhere over this area, and just chop. It's just not working the way I want it to. But remember, we're on the lookout for boring stocks because they're the ones that still seem to be outperforming quote unquote non-boring stocks, which the TI strength stuff has actually been doing phenomenally for this very reason, is that it's been rotated into lame names for a long time. And I actually just finished the newsletter. Again, it's not right to share that with you guys, but the names from it are still boring names. And I know the algorithm's not always like that because when I was back testing it and when I was forward testing it during the height of the pandemic, it was certainly not all boring names. There was a lot of Teslas and Pelotons and Apples and bigger movers. It's just right now, it seems that it's just kind of the boring ones. This AMPE is interesting on the weekly chart here. Made a joke the other day with the guys from Trade Ideas. We have our own little room where we just shoot the shit and talk markets and stuff. And I'm like, am I just getting old, or are weekly charts looking more and more attractive to me? And they said, yeah, it's just because you're getting old. But so I'm starting to include them in more of my scans. Just nice, clean pictures as opposed to kind of the slop here. Just doesn't move very much, but if AMPE goes from 2 to 3 again, even if it takes a while to do that, that's a 50% gain. So that's interesting. Earnings are out of the way. I like the weekly chart here where it's, had this nice breakout. It came to $3 where it struggled before and then pulled back, and now it's been basing. So maybe it's ready to take another shot. I don't know. Let's add this here. I'm not able to access the TI Strength webinar. That's interesting. It should just be unlisted on YouTube. Let me get you. I've got a version on my channel as well. We put a version up on the Trade Ideas channel just for fun. I don't think technically I'm supposed to give this out to everyone, but if you don't tell Dan, I won't tell Dan. So that should, if you click on that, that should in theory just load up right away like any other YouTube video. Well, let me know if that works for you. So again, if you are a TI Strength member, we have monthly webinars, the goal of which is to talk about how I'm trading them. I'm going to start bringing in different traders from Trade Ideas and talking to them about how they trade them. Sean, for example, uses some options, that type of thing. Just a way, because yes, it is back tested mechanically, but I don't believe that anyone should just 100% follow a mechanical back test. There should be a little bit of your eye with it. So, for example, this is the example I gave in the webinar. There was one guy I think that wasn't happy about this, but CYH, right? There was absolutely no reason. CYH was called by the TI Strength alerts right here, and then 5 days later, it was supposed to exit like right there. And I'm like, well, why would you do that? And why not just hold it? No, it wasn't CYH. It was BFGV, BGFE. There it was. Yeah, so this one was alerted right there. And I just drew in a trend line and says, okay, well, I'm going to stay involved as long as this trend line's intact. And kabamo, right? And he's like, well, the algorithm said to exit it, blah, blah, blah. So well, you have to do your own thinking as well, right? CM, for example, I am pissed that I'm out of this. This one was called by the strength alerts, I think, kind of right in this area. Just look at that slow grind of a trend. It's not percentage basis, it's 15%-ish. But just what an easy trader that was. So that's just that rant was just to say that's the kind of stuff we're going over in the Strength Alerts members webinar. Is these are what was picked, and this is how I traded them. And then I'll bring in different traders, and they'll say, well, that's how I traded them. That's how I traded them. That type of thing. So again, this scan that we're going through now is basically just a consolidation finder. It's looking for stocks that are consolidating more than usual for that name. And to do that, it uses, again, I can't share this one because of the customs, but it uses a combination of Bollinger Bands and Keltner channels and volatility metrics like that. And is basically everything that you'll see that comes up here is a stock that had some sort of move recently, and now it's getting very tight. And the plan is to find, right, the area at which I think they'll break, and that will cause some sort of a move, and then look to get in there. So like this one's very interesting to me. It's a software publisher. It's 8-ish% short float, right? It has a strong weekly chart with this nice pullback, and now it's kind of consolidating sideways here. So this is a candidate as well. I like these. I like them also because if these stocks are optionable, I don't know which ones are. They're actually pretty good options players as well because, options are priced based off direction and volatility. And these are stocks that the volatility has shrunken dramatically. So the options are going to be relatively cheap. And if you get the break and the explosion the way you think you're going to, you not only get the benefit of the price move, but you also get the benefit of the volatility increase, double to make the options move higher. Again, something I'm getting more into, right? It's one of those things I always spend most of my time trading what I know and trading what works and what feeds me. But I always think that you should have a percentage of that that's for experimentation, right? So right now, for a while it was, I'm going to experiment trading crypto, and that got worthwhile enough that I put a larger amount of money into trade crypto. And now it's, I'm going to experiment with options. And once Tastyworks gets its way up to Canada, me and Chicago Sean are going to do a video series together, which I think is going to be super cool, in which he teaches me how to express the algorithms and scans that I have built into an options framework, right? So it'll be me doing be me doing the scanning and the algorithms and the technical analysis and all that, and I'll say, okay, here are a series of things that I'm interested in trading. How would you express these best with options? And then he'll tell me how he would express them with options, and hopefully there'll be some cool addition for you guys there. I really like this PRQR. It's getting tight here. Looks like it may move, but as you can see, I'm already in, so I can't in good conscience ever make these short videos about something that I am already in. I just don't think it's right. Geez, so far there is not a lot. Anything that is down a lot, I worry it's underperforming the market, so why am I interested in it? FLUT, interesting. Commercial banking. Low short float. Okay, let's go to the round of bottom scan. Space was something that was interesting to me because it's gapped out of its downtrend. So if you look, right, this thing's just been getting killed. There's been no reason to get involved in this at all the way down, right? I feel bad for the people at 60. I don't think you're going to see it anytime soon, but it's gapped up and held over this 20 area, which has been important for the stock. I think I'd want to see more consolidation first, though. Massive short float on that one. The chart doesn't look very good, but whew, 30% short on that one. Blue again. Keeps popping up on my list over and over and over again. Maybe that's supposed to be telling me something. SSYS is very interesting. Big pullback. If you look here on the weekly chart, you can see this Dragonfly Doji right here at 20, which was support. And that kind of coincides with this channel break. SSYS, I haven't done that one, have I? Recently. I don't mind doing it again. Like, I'm actually thinking about doing blue again because it's just, that's trading, right? It's, you watch a stock, and if it doesn't do anything, you continue to watch it. And if it doesn't do anything, you continue to watch it. And eventually it does something, and you're glad you're watching it. PAX again. I get kind of encouraged too when I see the same stocks come through again and again. Just means the bases are continuing to evolve. And the saying that JC Peretz always says, and if you're not following JC, you should, is the larger the base, the higher in space. And last but not least, let's go through this. So this last one, the scan, is basically just looking for stocks close to their short-term moving average ranked by high short float. So this is the most barbaric scan that's out there. There's nothing there's nothing precise about this scan at all, but it is showing stocks that have a incredibly high short float, and then from there I'm looking to see the pattern. This Posh, I know I was watching before and it broke down on earnings, but it's still kind of setting up there. BGS. You can see all the spikes that these things made when that whole GameStop fiasco was going on. Everyone who was short anything got nervous that they were going to be targeted next. Actually, what the hell is GameStop even doing? Oh, it does look nice there. Ooh, that's dangerous. Are we going to be going through that again, where everyone's freaking out about GameStop? And I know AMC was the thing this week. Everyone was freaking out over AMC, and that got smacked back down. But I really think if you want to play with these kids, it's got to be GameStop. You got to just keep with the GameStop. It's the one that if they're right about the conspiracy theory, about how, they're making up fake shares and all this stuff, which I'm not a conspiracy head, but, that one, I know enough about the inner workings of the market that I'll have some belief for that one. That's interesting. I think that's going to be our winner. Yeah, if there's any, if there's anything that could be true when it comes to them ranting about their conspiracy theories, I think they're probably right on GME, because GME was a for sure thing when it came to bankruptcy. Like, that thing was going. It was blockbuster, right? So I would bet that people took just insane bets on that, and they still may be reeling from it. So, last but not least, we'll talk a little bit about some of the work that I did. I'm still shooting for June 1 to launch this. I'm getting nervous as I get closer. I want to make sure it's good enough for everybody. I want to make sure that everyone's perceiving way more value than they're paying for it, because that's just what I think makes a good business in the long run. So I want to make sure it's good, but there may be some fumbles along the way, so we'll figure that out as it comes. But here it is. Go here. So essentially, again, $49.99 US monthly, cancel anytime, no lockup or anything like that. It will be, as we talked about, all of my scans, and not just here's the cloud link, have fun. Here's the cloud link. Here's how I use it. Here's why I use it this way. Here's a couple sample of stocks that I found from it, so you know what I'm looking for with it. Here is the trading plan that I've kind of built around this scan, and some samples, when I get in, why, blah, blah. And this will change as the market changes. As the market changes, you need to look for different things. So I'll update that as things go. This trading journal, I don't think I'm just going to do a trading journal anymore. I think what I'm going to do is 2 very short posts every day that will be in this section, that will have a morning, what I'm thinking about in the morning. It will have a bunch of gappers. It will have just my overnight thoughts of the market and all of that, any news that have taken place, anything that I think people should know about, from a warning point of view. And then there'll be another post in the evening or the night. Again, this is what the markets look like to me. Very quick on crypto and just equities. And just this is what I think about the market. These are places that I'm going to mill about overnight and watch for tomorrow. And then our members chat, which will be a Discord group or something like that, where people can congregate, share ideas. I'll post things as I see them live in real time there as well. Again, none of this will be a signal service. I don't ever want to run hey, follow me while I trade, because, as anyone who's talked to me personally will know, I'm not one that says, hey, I'm right all the time, everything works great for me all the time. I make money over the long run. I have periods that my strategies don't work. I have periods that my strategies do work. My advantage, I think, over time is just that I have a very good risk reward ratio in everything that I do. So even on periods that I don't do well, I take small hits and then a couple big gains. Makes for a better time there. But again, this will be a members chat where we'll share about. And on top of this, there will be a monthly webinar where it will be a Zoom call where people can come in, right, shoot the shit, ask questions live if they want to. If not, email them in. I know some people don't like talking over the mic, so they can just email them in, and I will read them anonymously and answer them fully there. And that's what I'm thinking. So again, if you're interested, anywhere on my website, which I will share, is statsedgetrading.com. Anywhere on my website, on the bottom of the page, there's this email sign up link. And did that not carry through right? I don't think it did. Hold on. There is this little email sign up link. As anyone who's on the email list will tell you, I don't spam. I will send out an email once a week to remind you guys of this live stream if you want to come by. If not, that link converts into to watch the replay if you just want to watch it later. And I will email out when the product's ready. I'm not going to talk about it on Twitter. I'm not going to talk about it on YouTube. It will go to this email list first. Give those people a chance to sign up. I'm going to cap it at 100. And then with those 100 people, as if people don't like it and leave, I'll let new people in, that kind of thing. But with that, I'm going to work out the product with them, and they'll ask for maybe different things or more things or change things or whatever. And then when it's good, and I have 100 that are not leaving and they're happy with the product, then I'll expand it out, maybe at an increased price after that. But that's what I'm thinking there. So go sign up for the email list, and I'll let you know when that's done. Again, I'm shooting for the beginning of June, but knowing me, I'll probably not think it's perfect enough and hold it back another while, but I don't know. We'll see. That's what I'm shooting for. So again, as always, it was nice to have everyone here. If you're watching this after it's published and you're still here, hit the like button. Please subscribe, share it around. If you're here in the chat right now, please do the same. It helps just get my name out there and have more people watch things. And if you haven't, go watch the video that came out yesterday. That is all about the new TradeIDs 5.5, which I think is hugely important. I think it's a big leap in this technology, and for me, it's just making everything I do shorter. Therefore, everything I'm going to do is going to be a little better. And again, what we're watching for on Monday is this SYK. I'll do the video about that. That'll be up on the channel in just a little bit. It will be also up on my TikTok, which, yeah, I've got one of those. But basically, it's just looking for this trend line to break to see if we can continue there, riding off this 21% short float to see if things kind of continue. And as always, it was nice for everyone coming out, and I will see you guys later.